Hello, everyone, and welcome to our first October show, Digital Tools for Music Educators. I am Elaine Avanatha, a Digital Innovation Leader for JCPS, and I'm excited to be joined today by our awesome women who make up part of our Kentucky Go Digital team. Two of us today are on assignments, Heather and Brooke, so they won't be with us today, but we have Courtney DeRosset. She is the CIO and Director of Federal Programs for Floyd County Schools. Hi, Courtney, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. I'm excited to hear from this great panel.
Me too. And we have our newest host is Whitney York. She is the Technology Integration Specialist for Murray Independent Schools. Hi, Whitney. I'm glad you're here today.
Hi, so glad to be here. Cannot wait to learn.
So it's great to see you guys, and we are joined today by some Kentucky Go Digital leaders, and we have three very musically talented people here with us today. We have Michelle Lewis, who is a music specialist for Bloom Elementary School, and she is with me in Jefferson County Public Schools. We have Mr. Stephen Keys. He is the band director at Burdurant. I'm going to butcher that. Sorry. Brant, thank you. Middle school, and he's in Franklin County Public Schools here in Kentucky. And we are breaking outside of Kentucky's border with Adam Davis, and he is the director of Orchestras for Hudsonville Public Schools. So we are connecting outside of the state of Kentucky all the way to Michigan. So welcome. How are you guys today?
Great.
Doing well.
Awesome. Good. So Whitney's going to be taking questions from the YouTube live chat along with Courtney, and make sure you drop in there to introduce yourself, as well as let us know what county or state you are from. And if you do not see the chat capability, make sure that you are logged in to the YouTube with your account. And then also while you're there, go ahead and click subscribe so that you too can be easily connected with us at any point in time. So without further ado, I'm going to allow Mr. Keys to take it away and share with us some awesome tools, digital tools he is utilizing in his class.
Hi, everybody. What we're doing with music in the band room is really at times hard to add technology to. And I think that's where people get a little frustrated. We're, as band directors and orchestra directors and choir directors, we are creatures of habit. And so it's kind of hard to break through, but I've found a few things here. I'm going to try this screen switching thing and see how it works. There we go. Maybe. Here we go. And the biggest thing is my screen showing up?
Yep, you got it.
The biggest thing is this, I feel right here, is this. We teach how we're taught. And I don't think any of us as music educators taught in a room that was full of technology. We went in, we played, we sang, we did our thing, and went on. Because learning to play a musical instrument is a skill. It is a skill that has to be developed over time. And so because we haven't been exposed to it, it's hard for us as music educators to really kind of jump in and take advantage of it. So what I try to tell all the people that I speak to is, instead of just jumping in and throwing technology out there, why are you wanting to use technology? You know, what problems are you trying to solve? And will technology solve these problems? If you just start using technology, that's where you get frustrated, and that's where a lot of people just throw in the towel. They get frustrated with it and they quit. So what I tried to do is I tried to come up with some things that I was having problems with as a teacher. And the three things that I got was student assessments, hearing my kids play their instruments. I wanted my students to practice more. I wanted more student engagement. And so I was trying to find ways to do that. And I wanted to be more efficient with my use of time. The biggest one that led me into technology was assessment. I teach by myself, and I'll have between 75 and 90 kids in a room. And for me to hear all those kids individually, it was taking an enormous amount of time. I was losing rehearsal time. And for performance classes, rehearsal time is our lifeblood because we're always getting ready for the next thing. And so that was my biggest problem, is I wanted to find a better way to hear my students. And so that's where I jumped into technology and trying to find ways to do that. I'm going to do some more slide switching here, see if I got it pulled up. Let's see, switch slides. Here we go. As educators, music educators, we're getting better when it comes to having things specifically designed for the music programs, but we need to look outside of things that were as the slide here says, non-music specific programs, things like Screencastify, Edpuzzle, the Google apps for education. But my big go-to over the past couple of years has been Flipgrid, the video-based program where I can put out playing tests through Google Classroom. The kids record themselves on their Flipgrids, and then they send them in, and then I'm able to give them feedback. And yet I can also keep that rehearsal time. The kids do it on their own. As a matter of fact, I put one up last week before we went away for fall break, and I'm giving the kids 2 weeks to work on it. When they feel comfortable and they think they've done the best they can, they submit their Flipgrid. I can then go through, because Flipgrid has a built-in rubric now that you can customize. And so I can give them instant feedback. And then I can, like I say, I can continue to have rehearsal, and the kids can submit their playing a test that way. What I really like about Flipgrid is they can do it until they get it right, until they get it to where they want it to be. I'm not so concerned about them getting it right now. It's about them getting it right at some point, because every kid's different. Every kid's going to progress at a different level. And so I want the kids to feel comfortable. I don't want them to have the pressure of playing in front of their peers in the classroom. Way too many tears on playing test day in the past. Way too much stress, and I'm not getting the kids' best efforts. And so by using Flipgrid, they get real comfortable. When they're done and they think they've got it, they submit it to me. I also like Flipgrid because as a band director, I like to look at their embouchures. I like to look at their hand position. I like to look at their posture. And if they're doing just audio recordings, I miss all the visual things that I'm trying to fix. And so for me, the biggest non-musical thing for me has been Flipgrid. Screencastify is good too. It's free. The kids put it on their Chromebooks. We are a Chromebook school. All of our students, grades 6 through 12, have Chromebooks.
Stephen,
go ahead.
So that was a huge thing that you just said. I divulged to everyone on the panel earlier that I am not musically challenged. I did attempt to play the flute in middle school, and those moments of the day that where we had to choose and try to fight for the chair positions and battle against that were huge stressors. And I feel as if to speak on behalf of your students, to be able to take the moment and practice. And then, like you said, Flipgrid, I get to redo it over and over and over again until I feel as if that's my best to turn in. And in life general, we fail and then we try again and we try again. And you are modeling that for your students with these digital tools. So I wish I had that back when I was maybe I would have stayed with the flute and not been so frustrated and intimidated. So awesome. I'm loving that.
Well, I wish I had it when I was coming up. It would have been so much easier. But one thing about it, if a kid plays through an exercise and they don't get it right and they want to do it again, it's what they do. They practice. They put the time in to make it better. And so every time they do it and then delete that recording, they've practiced. And so, yeah, I get to assess them. But as everybody on this panel, who's the music educators, even you all you real teachers.
No.
We know within 10 seconds if a kid is practiced or not. We know within 10, 15 seconds. We don't need to do a 2-minute playing test. I can tell immediately they haven't touched their horn, or, hey, they've put time in. And I try not to, I don't do chairs like I should. The kids want chairs. The kids covet the chair that sits right here next to me. That's the first chair flute. That one and the first chair trumpet are the ones people fight for. But I don't try to compare my kids to each other, because, like I say, they're all different. So when I do my playing test, I am listening to them over time. I know what they should be doing. And if I've got a kid who comes in who plays great, but yet I know they could do better, they may not score as well as someone who played awful, but it might have been their absolute best playing test they've done ever. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Flipgrid. I will say this, for middle school kids, you got to be careful with Flipgrid, because they are middle school kids. They're used to Snapchat, they're used to Instagram. And so at times they will think that they're using it as a Snapchat. So the first couple that, if you do Flipgrid, the first couple you do are going to be, well, crazy. And so I give instructions after the first, I let them get it out of their system. And then I give them the instructions of, okay, play this next one as artistic as possible. And then all of a sudden you start seeing better posture. You start seeing good horn position. They're not trying to be funny to make the next viral video that goes crazy on YouTube. They're actually really working to try to play their best, but let them get it out of their system, because it's the world they live in. We live in the world of Snapchat now, and we just have to be, those 10-second funny, dumb videos are out there, and we just got to deal with it.
And Stephen, everything you're saying, it's not, I know you said for real teachers, but
no, it's sarcasm. I get in trouble all the time.
Instruction. This is any content area can listen to this and take the same things that you've said and apply them to their classroom. Practice until you've got it. Give the kids a chance to get it right, not right now. I mean, that is super powerful. So great message that you're sending. And I'm going to throw a question in there. We have a question from the live chat that I had to Google to understand. It's music. Okay. So this is from Russell Hockenberry, and he says, what role does DAW, which I Googled, means digital audio workstation, right? Okay. And MIDI, MIDI, what role do those play in the modern music classroom?
Well, when you say music classroom, I'm thinking of general music. I know here in Kentucky, I don't know how it is out in the rest of the world. I do know people they really freak out when I say we have general music classes that we make kids take, because in other states they don't do that. In the general music classroom, I use Soundtrap, which is a digital audio workstation for many projects. We just finished a podcasting project where the kids develop podcasts using Soundtrap. We used, they're doing musical mashups where they take two songs and mix them together and try to work. And so you can use those things I think they're vital to the modern music classroom. And the really cool thing is they're not that expensive. Soundtrap, I bought 100 subscriptions to Soundtrap for my general music classes, and it cost me about $500. And, to a lot of people, to most schools, that's a lot of money. But with the technology push that's out there, if you go to your administrators and you say, listen, if you want us to use technology, you got to come up with funds to do it. And you say it's just $500, they'll come up with that. They'll find ways to do it, as long as you're showing ways that it can be used educationally. Now, in the band room, I will have my younger kids like Soundtrap because they get to make funky beats. And you have never heard Hot Cross Buns played until you've put a funky Soundtrap beat to it. Lightly Row is a good one. I will put that one out there from the band book, and then I'll say, go on Soundtrap and create a background. Because band directors and music teachers know that the method books come with CDs that have accompaniments to the songs, and they're really bad And if you're a music publisher and you're watching this, they're bad. They're not good. And the kids, after about a week, break the CDs, throw them away, and never use them. But if you give them a program like Soundtrap and they can put like a hip hop beat or a different beat that they're used to, they'll practice it all day. And once again, you've tricked them into practicing.
Hey, sorry I'm late, but can I just get you to say funky beats one more time for me?
When you do those funky beats, baby, funky beats.
Well, let me just say, I'm running a little late. Sorry to join late, but I just wanted to say Soundtrap. My daughter loves Soundtrap, and she comes home and she creates her funky beats, and then we record them, and she wants to play them for me. I've even tweeted about her. She cannot get enough of that program. So I'm down with the funky beats. Hi, everyone.
Stephen, too, on the live chat, Neil Arnett from Pikeville, he is meeting you along with Donna Morris and a lot of chatter. But everything you're talking about, you are modeling. And like I'm with Whitney on earlier when you said the regular, that's ridiculous. You're modeling good instruction using technology tools to make instruction and learning happen in your classroom. And what you're talking about, even with Soundtrap and some of these things, every classroom, think about the power if a content teacher, the ACT regular content teacher, incorporated music with their content, how much more student engagement, kids would have in that classroom. So what you're talking about, have you ever paired and showed how a content teacher could use some of these tools with music to work with their content?
Well, when I say regular teachers, I do that very sarcastically, and I do that for my music people because we are not regular, we are irregular, and people are terrified of our rooms. And so I use that totally sarcastically. We are real teachers, but we tend to live in our own little world where we think our subject exists by itself. And all of our subjects relate to each other. When you're talking
that's what
about,
I'm talking about. Yeah, that's exactly what
I'm talking about. History. And so, you're talking about all the great things that happened in the Renaissance. Well, you have architecture, you've got science, you've got music, you've got art, you've got everything's happening together, and they're a reflection of each other. And so I've preached and tried to get like my history teachers, my social studies teachers, when they're talking about a specific unit, well, music wasn't all by itself. Music was a part of that. Music was a reflection of that. The art that the artist created it was them expressing their feelings about what was going on. I mean, if you look at the earliest 20th century art, and then you listen to Stravinsky, and then you see society and the Industrial Revolution going crazy. I mean, all this stuff is interrelated. And so what we've done over the years, and it's just an educational thing, we've boxed ourselves in to where our subject is that. And look, we got to keep knocking these doors down to where, I mean, music, if real teachers added music to their classroom, the kids would enjoy their classes so much more.
Hey, Stephen,
go ahead.
The problem I've had when I've tried to do that is we're also a performance class. So we're trying to do a program that's wide and has lots of variety to it for the kids. And it doesn't always match up with the curriculum in the other departments. And so trying to manipulate the program so it fits what the other classes were doing and make it all fit was the problem that we've always had with it. Because I agree with you, man. We've got to get this stuff all integrated because it is art, it is history, it is social studies, everything. It's all connected, and the composers were just reflecting what was going on during that time period. But trying to line up with all the rest of the curriculum that the teachers need to get through for the upcoming assessments or whatever has been our problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to change how I do my class.
Right.
I'm going to have band. I've got the next concert to get ready for.
Yep.
I have asked the teachers in the different departments if they're studying an author, or they're in some kind of literary unit, or they're at some time period in history. I will try to pull in maybe some music that fits it, but they need to pull in music in theirs. I don't need to adjust. I mean, I will adjust my schedule a little bit because there's great music. Great music's great music, and it doesn't matter what the topic is. But I need my science teachers. I need my social studies teachers. I need my English teachers to pull in music into their classes.
Yep.
I will bend, but they gotta bend too.
I'm with you.
All right.
Right, to shatter those content silos, right? I mean, it all blurs together. And we were just having this conversation in a makerspace yesterday. And how can schools leverage their makerspace to reinforce the classroom content? Same thing with our special areas. How can we leverage you guys so that kids have deeper learning experiences in your content areas? Same thing with the makerspace. How can we leverage the makerspace for deeper learning experiences for kids within their core content areas? So I love shattering those silos, you know, content to content. And that sounds like what you're doing, Stephen. So shout out to you. I could listen to you all day.
Well, I've got to go to the Food and Wine Festival, so you don't get to. But no, if a kid walks through the door of your school, they're your kid, whether you got them in your class, in your band or not. And so we got to start thinking more holistically like that instead of my square four-walled room. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's not as hard as they say it is. And I've told my teachers, all they got to do is let me know, and I'll come up with something. I'll figure out something to do. And I think all the other educators on here would too. If a teacher called you and needed help or wanted suggestions for something, ain't nobody going to shut the door. We're going to say, because if other teachers are putting music in their classrooms, eventually it's going to trickle down to my classroom, and the kids are going to be more excited about what we're doing. And I don't know. It just seems natural and easy to me. I don't get why it's so hard.
Well, I think things like what you are doing, you're sharing the tools like this is going to help. You know, anyone can watch this and see the tools that you have already gone through. And this is one step. You know, I mean, you've made all these steps, and to be able to share this and let people know these are the tools that, you know, an individual teacher can look at and learn. Kudos to you all for sharing it.
Now, speaking of tools, let me cover just a couple more things, and I'll get off my soapbox and let everybody else kind of jump on here. I don't want to. I feel like I've hijacked it for a little bit, and I don't want to do that. Let me pull up the slide set again. Once again, non-specific. Now, when it comes to music-specific tools, I'm going to come down here to this one. One of the biggest things, and there's Soundtrap on there, and it even has the letters DAW on it. One thing that's really exciting about these three tools, Noteflight, Soundtrap, and Flat, is they all incorporate student collaboration. And so Noteflight is a web-based music notation program that works on any platform, but yet kids can be sitting out in their homes away from each other, and they can compose music together. There are different areas to Noteflight. The one that is meant for education is called Noteflight Learn. And Noteflight Learn, and this is my screen, I hope you're seeing it, comes with a huge library. Now, all these different libraries down here, you have to pay a little extra for. They're like $5, but Noteflight is in with Alfred and Hal Leonard. And so there's a ton of music there. But you get the Noteflight Learn library for free. And I clicked on it and see how good Mickey's Wi-Fi is doing here today. Over here, it's got so many different sight reading exercises and scale exercises and theory and composition exercises. And you can change, you can manipulate the key. You can, you know, it's got different keys. But there are notation programs, and I can select one and put it in Google Classroom, and then the kids can perform it and record it and send it back to me as well. One of the cool things about Noteflight is I can also write in my own exercises. So if I'm working on a piece of music and I know the kids are struggling with these 16 measures or these 24 measures, I can type them in real quick and send it out. I can just do one thing, one line. I don't have to put it in for each instrument, because I spent 5 minutes in class one day and showed the kids how to transpose in Noteflight. So I can put a piano part out there, and then the kids who play tuba know within just 2 or 3 clicks, they can turn it from a piano to a tuba part. They can record it and send it back to me. So Noteflight, and once again, it's cross-platform. It's cheap. It is so easy to learn. And what's really cool about the kids haven't figured out yet, well, and neither have teachers, how to use technology to teach and learn with. The kids know how to use technology. They don't know how to use it as a learning tool yet. We're getting there. We're getting better. But if you, as a teacher, and I'm an old man, I'm crusty. If I have an issue with technology, the kids jump up and within 2 minutes, they've shown me what to do and they fixed it. There was one day I was on Note Flight and some kid walked up and goes, "Look what I did." I'm like, "How did you do that?" And he spent the next few minutes teaching me. So he went away feeling great because he taught the teacher something. And I went away feeling great because I learned something and I now know how to use that program better. Note Flight is great. Soundtrap is wonderful. Flat is another cross-platform music notation program. One thing that Flat has, and this is going to be the last thing I'm going to show you, and I'm going to get off here, is they have an add-on for Google Docs and Google Slides that lets you put musical snippets right into a Google Doc. So here's my Google Doc. I've went to the store and I've got the add-on. And so I can put insert musical snippet and then I just type out something. I have these different options here, but I can just type in a little thing. I'm going to do a quick dumb one. It will make no sense musically, maybe. But I type it in and I just start typing and I'm typing and I'm typing. And then I hit insert and it goes straight into my Google Doc as a graphics file. And so I have all the graphics tools available. I can crop it and move it down. But what I'm able to do is I'm able to put a rhythm of the week on the board. And instead of me using my chicken scratch and my dry erase marker that only my kids can read, I can type it in one time and project it on the screen. It does have playback, but not once it's put in the doc because Google has blocked that. Google doesn't let sounds being played inside their documents, but I'm able to put that up there. I have all the kids add it to their Chromebooks. That way they can type in something and we can talk about different things and they can hear it played back before they snip it in. But we don't have a ton of things for the performance-based classroom yet, but we're getting there. We're getting there, but like anything else, it's a process. It's a process, and every day I come across something new, and I can't wait to hear from the rest of these wonderful folks so that I can steal some things, and I'm going to steal them and use them. So
we could all actually spend a lot more time on these materials and these add-ons and extensions and things. So these resources are all going to be in the description of this show, and so you can have that as well and then divide. Also, I wanted to suggest all of you guys to reach out to these leaders, the Kentucky Go Digital leaders that are now are part of our team on Twitter, and make sure that you tag and use that hashtag so that we can all learn from each other, just like that.
And if there's anything, and if you send us a tweet, I know I'm speaking for everybody because I know I know everybody at Kentucky Go Digital and everybody else is wonderful. If you tweet us with a question, we will send you all the resources you need that we have. I'm doing several presentations in the spring at music conferences. I'd be more than willing to share that slide set out to anyone, and it's hopefully it's a living document to where the more I learn, I can add more to that slide set. So all you got to do is connect with us. Thank God for Twitter. Just hit us up real quick, and we'll share it. No questions.
Thank you, Stephen. I know you have your wealth of knowledge, and I'm going to have to tap in, and maybe I'll get back on that flute someday. But we have Michelle with us today, and she's got lots to share as well. So I'm going to let Michelle take it on.
All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Michelle Lewis. I teach at Bloom Elementary School here in Louisville, Kentucky.
Michelle, can I just real quick, your principal just walked by. So I'm at the JCPS principals meeting, and Jack just walked by. And when I told two people that were on the show and that you were coming on it, Suzanne Wright sitting across from me and Dr. Horton, everybody says, "Oh my gosh, Michelle is the best. You're going to learn so much." So you have so many fans here in this room, and I'm so excited to have you share with not only JCPS, but the rest of the state. So big shout outs from all your fans here at the principals meeting.
Thank you, Heather. Tell everybody I said hi. All right, so I'm going to basically talk about some Google resources because this is something that I've recently Our district has just become just major Google district. So thank you. Shout out to Heather for that. And these resources have helped me mainly connect with other teachers. You know, Stephen was talking about how can we get, you know, people to team together and work together with all these subject areas. And this, I believe, Google is one way to do it. And I'm going to show you some different things that I'm doing with the teachers here at Bloom, with the students at Bloom. And hopefully we can all kind of learn from each other and share those things. So this this slide that you see right here is one that I created for all of our special areas. So we've got the art class, music class, so on, all the way around the board. And when you click on this, it's basically a doc, but what I've done is I've included, because we've got these backpacks of skills, success skills, that all of our students are expected to be able to articulate at the end of, you know, the end of 5th grade, and then at the end of middle school and the end of high school. So this one right here, the Emerging Innovator, students are creating music. They're getting ready to put it on. You know, you talked about the DAW, the DAW. So Russ Hockenberry is sitting next to me. So he's the one who asked the question earlier. So Stephen, great job on your answer, because he's right here smiling. So right here, the students, you know, they're, what I've done is just documented, I'm documenting from the beginning of the year all the way to the end of the year what they're doing. So productive collaborators. All the students are collaborating on pieces of music to perform for a variety of purposes. And in this picture, they're playing guitar together. They're learning Batman. They're all on instruments like keyboard, drum set, guitars, singers. This is all in one class. And you talk about crazy when you walk in. It looks like mass chaos, but the kids are learning and they love it. Batman is a great tune to start on in case you wanted to do like modern band type stuff in your classroom. So the globally, culturally competent citizen, I'm documenting everything there. This picture is showing 2nd grade students who are learning about children in Africa who do not have clean water. So we're cross collaboration across the board, learning about history, learning about geography, math, everything. So it goes through effective communicators, prepared, resilient learners, just documenting the whole thing. This is going to be shared. Yeah, this is going to be shared, and it already has been shared with the students because I use Google Classroom, which is great. I love Google Classroom, and we'll talk about that one in a second. But what this does is it shows the students. It's a collection of all their learning throughout the year. And by the end of the year, they have an opportunity to go through that and remind themselves of what they did throughout the year and choose what artifact that they want to put in their digital backpack, which is on a separate app in Google. Then it also is communicated with parents. It's communicated with the other teachers so that we all know what each other's doing. And when we can see what each other's doing in that easy format, then it makes it easier for me to connect with another subject area if I know what's happening, because there's so many connections made in music. The other thing that I wanted to share with you guys is with Google is, you know, you can put practice folders on there. I have a little rock band that meets after school once a week. I put practice folders on there for them with all the music, the recordings, everything. And they go home, check it out, and they're like, oh, this is what it makes practicing more fun when they have that information readily available. So this is what it looks like, Google Practice Folder for Modern Band. So they have the vocals, they go into that folder, and they've got a series of things, and I put all the different parts. So that's really cool. That Google Classroom, it's, you know, Stephen mentioned this earlier about the uses for all the different technology. Once you figure out what you what you need, like formative and summative assessments. Say that 5 times fast, see how you do. It's really cool because I can give an assessment before the kids come to my class, and maybe the 4th grade teacher can give it in the first 5 minutes that they meet with the teacher in the morning. They can take the assessment in their class, and then I have immediate feedback to where I can plan for my class when I see them on Friday. It gives me a heads up on what they know and what they don't know, and I can plan better for them before they even get to my room, which is really, really nice. So that's a huge time saver, and it's meeting the kids where they need to be. So that's one of the things that I love about Google Classroom. Other things about Google Classroom is it's, you have more opportunity for personalized learning and student choice. And it extends the learning beyond the regular classroom. If I only see them once a week, maybe twice a week, once a month, that the learning is still happening. It's still going on, whether they're in my class face-to-face or not, which is huge. So we're getting more done with this technology. So I love that. Some more resources that I wanted to share with you, and I'm hurrying through this because I want my friend who's coming up next to have some time. These resources, I'm kind of like, even if we have money, that's great. But if I can find something on a dime, I'm going to find it on a dime or for free. So I've got this great resource I have to share with you. It is called, littlekidsrock.org, and I'm going to show you what we've been doing in my classroom. Here, it just started in August. Little Kids Rock, it's music education. It says it's a charity, and it is. It's a nonprofit. I went to a training this summer in Colorado, and they have it every year, every summer in Colorado. It's basically, it says little kids, but it's really for all kids. It's all the way up through college. And in fact, most colleges don't even teach their students about this resource because it's so new. And I'm going to be, leading the way on this because it's so important. This is where we're at right now. So Little Kids Rock, I'm going to show you what types of things we've been doing in my classroom. For kids, they can learn a song, take a lesson, or practice. And I'll just show you the take a lesson. They have all the instruments. They even go through songwriting, tech, ukuleles on there. We'll scroll down. So they have hip hop basics, body drum set. So you're using your body percussion to be able to play the drum set. Let's go to this one. This is easy. So learning guitar, easy G chord, E minor chord. These are very easy chords to start with. So this is, and they have, songs that have one chord. So that's what we started with in my classroom this year, is putting kids at stations. So there's 4 kids around the room at each station. So in this corner, 4 students on guitar, that corner, 4 on guitar. They have their headphones on, and they have this little gadget that I discovered this summer at the training. I've got to show you this. It's only $25. It's right here. It's called 4-channel stereo headphone amplifier. And that's made by Behringer. It's a really great brand, but you can pop 4 headphones in there. The kids can go to this website on their Google Chromebook or whatever other device you have. We have Chromebooks. So I'm thankful. So if Heather, you're there with Jack, tell him thank you because it doesn't happen unless you have people that are up above you supporting you. And so we have those wrapped around the room. Those can be used for your keyboards, your piano keyboards. But I use that in conjunction with the Little Kids Rock website. And at each station, there's also like a little questionnaire for the kids to fill out, let me know how they did, like a short assessment. The next resource that I'd like to show you, how to start a podcast. This is one I also learned about this summer. So thank you, JCPS. Deeper Learning Symposium is where this happened. Our friends in Indiana came and presented how to start a podcast. So this link you can go to. Music Chrome Lab is another resource that's great, as well as, oh, hold on, let me go back. The New York Music Design Lab. This is another resource I found this summer just surfing on Twitter. Twitter is the best place on the planet. Lots of things here. Groove Pizza, create and play with grooves using shapes and math. So there's connections made to other subject areas through this, which is great. Math, science, music. And scrolling through so you can see producing music. All sorts of things. Puzzle cards. Lots of stuff there. So that one is pretty extensive. So if you have time, check that out because that's pretty awesome. The last slide, you can see these apps. These are really good for elementary music or beginner band type things, Staff Wars. That's the most fun. Kids love it because the notes are shooting out of the sky. Beat drills, Dust Busters for piano, rhythm taps, you know, your basic rhythms, and then an improvisation app. Those are, man, I mean, those have been so helpful for me just at the start of the year. And I don't know, I'm just thankful for people in our district that have been supportive. So the principals, the administrators, like Heather, who's now on board, our superintendent, all the way up. So those are a lot of the things that I've been just implemented at the beginning of this year. I've only been at my elementary school for, yesterday was my 1-year anniversary. So from this summer till now, all of that has happened. So that's a small bit of what we've done in a short amount of time, from summer till today.
Michelle, can I come back to your music class? Stephen, I would like to also have another chance at music, maybe. I mean, it sounds like as a technology lover, I think now that I could actually have been successful. So awesomeness, awesome. And I love that thing. Did you guys, Stephen and Adam, did you guys learn something there you didn't know? Got another trick up your sleeve? So we have Adam Davis, who is with us today. And go ahead, Adam, and show us what you've got going on.
All right. Welcome from Michigan, where if you don't like the weather, just wait 24 hours and it'll be a whole new season. I think tomorrow we're going to be in summer number 3. So it's wild up here. But I'll just jump in. I feel like I have been drinking from a fire hose this last 40 minutes or so. Oh, wrong one. So I completely agree with Stephen, and it's trying to extend the classroom is what I've always tried to do. So a couple of things, and I'm going to just fly through these, but the QR codes is a big thing for us right now, and it's not so much for student interaction, it's more about just not wasting time with things like inventory and libraries and all that kind of stuff that we have to do. But it's not fun at all. And then the New Visions Cloud Lab stuff. I've been with them, or not with them, but associated with their add-ons for years now. And they've helped with tons of stuff. I was using their stuff before Google Classroom happened. And I was using things like Doctopus to extend the classroom outside of just the rehearsal room. Because like Stephen said, that rehearsal time's gold. And you can't waste it, so you have to do stuff outside. So QR codes, one quick way that I use it is with like pre-filled forms for inventory. And you can see I put a little picture there of the QR code with the instrument itself. And I can quickly scan what's going on with those instruments. And then it would take me to something like this, where all the instrument information gets filled in automatically. And then I can pick what I want to do with the instrument, hit next. ask me a couple more questions and I go. And I set up like the send instrument out for repair. I always send certain instruments to a certain repair shop. I set that up with Formule, which is an email merge tool, to then send them an email that said, hey, this instrument's ready. Can you come and get it for us? So that our repairs have been happening much more quickly. And they've liked it because they didn't have to keep track of the repairs because it all came to them in an email. And then I could also set up things where you could do like, here's my available inventory with my violas. We don't have any full-size violas. How about 16-inch violas? There we go. Things like that. And where are we? Back here. So that's the QR code stuff. The add-ons that I use all the time is Autocrat, which is how I got connected with Kentucky Go Digital. It's basically like Microsoft's mail merge. And then the Formule, same thing as Autocrat, just all email-based. Copy down is a huge thing to help out with stuff. And then Form Ranger is another. I know I'm flying through this stuff, but they're all add-ons on Google's Docs, Sheets, and for slides. So it's a great tool that we've also used with kids to send in forms, and then their data can go right back out to them, or it can be merged together if they're doing group projects. Some of the ways that I've used it is self-assessments. They've got to practice, but they have to become their own director, basically. So they're always asking questions like, how do I do this or that? And when they self-assess using these tools and get the feedback, it's huge for them. Or we'll do blind auditions where we have a solo coming up. I need all my violins to play this. They go behind a screen. The other kids listen to the audition. They then assess. They don't know who it is, but they just kind of pick which ones they feel would be the best representatives of the orchestra. And then they use a form to send in their choices so that it can be quickly done and the kids don't have to sit around and wait for the results. And then going on real quick, just because we're running out of time, but we got 4 areas that I use to extend the classroom. One of them is Plickers, where if you haven't seen the Plickers, it's basically a QR code that the kids hold up in a certain orientation and it gives the answer. Great tool because it uses your phone. You can see a screenshot of my phone there from one of them. I find out right away who answered what to certain questions, and it records those answers so that I can use it with my formative assessment stuff. Unfortunately, they're in version 2, which just came out like a week and a half ago, and they've been changing some things. So still a little on the fence with that one at the moment. Musictheory.net is huge for getting them out of just not playing the instrument, but understanding what's going on in the music also. And I use the exercise customizer all the time with these kids. And with musictheory.net, they can send me a screenshot of how they did. So I can set up the exercise ahead of time. They do it on their time when they need to, and then they get me the screenshot back. And I've got tons of information then about what they're doing, how they understand things. Same thing with the rhythm trainer. It just gives you a chance to do more rhythm type things with the kids. Either it's dictation or transcribing or identifying. It can be fast, it can be slow, and it's only a few buttons, so it's pretty quick and easy for kids. And that's about it for my quick run through, like lickety split there.
Adam, I always say that that's how Adam and I got connected with all those formulas and all those add-ons. So, but the beauty of this whole show is that it's the power of pause. So Adam, even though you took a whole, you flew through that, that will be able to use those resources because it's got paused. So thank you for all of that. You all 3 have really just helped me get a little bit more inspired as far as my one of my uncomfortable zones, and that's where I know I can grow. What about you, Courtney? Do you feel like are you?
Yes, because I'm not music, but now I'm a social studies buff. That's my background, and I wish that I had these tools because music is so vital in that content. So I I wish I had you all on my building back then, but now everyone has you here. And something else, Elaine, I know Adam mentioned Autocrat and Formule and some of those things. We have some videos that you will add into this video, right? So, or in the notes, so that if you're watching this and you're not familiar with that, there have been some past shows and some create videos that will help people with how to support them in creating and being a part of that. So Adam, I know you went through that really fast, but we've got your support for anyone that's watching too.
And that actually brings me into another segue. Adam, you may want to even see tomorrow, because we are, or not tomorrow, but on the 23rd or 24th, I believe, our next show is on how to create those QR codes and those forms that are already pre-filled. So definitely, and I didn't even think about inventory. So that's even an added benefit for that, for sure. So thank you.
For us.
Always make my mind grow. All three of you have made my mind expand today. So I'm going to do a little thing off script today. But Stephen, you said something while we were pre-show, and you said something about the walls. And so can you reiterate that for us, for our audience, as far as, because I almost wanted to take a sound clip of what you had said, because it was so valuable about the walls and even in our buildings. And we were talking about how Adam was in Michigan. So go ahead. I'm going to put you on the spot.
I'll try to get, we live now in a wall-less world. We don't have borders anymore. I know when I was first teaching, if I wanted to bring in a guest artist or a guest clinician, we had to really work on schedules and getting things, and it was just a complete pain to try to do with Hangouts and Skype and other things. There are no walls anymore. You know, I think Courtney said something that she wished she had it in her classroom. Well, the world is now our classroom. There is no excuse for us not to connect with other people. It really is easy. A cheap webcam, your cell phone. I don't know anyone around who doesn't have a cell phone. There are no more walls. And the only walls that are there are the ones that we put up. And that's because sometimes we get intimidated, we get scared, you're afraid to fail. But like one of the things I've been preaching to my kids, if you're going to fail, fail forward. At least you're moving forward. And then, so when you make that mistake, guess what? You learn from it, get up, try something else. But there aren't no walls. I mean, I'm in Florida. I'm at Disney World. Adam's in Michigan, Michelle's in Louisville. I mean, we're all over the place right now. So there's no reason for us not to connect with each other. And for all the young teachers out there, if you need help is just an email, a tweet, a click away. And if you're a young teacher and you're not searching for help, you will. You will before too long. So, I mean, connect. Connect. It's the way. You have to do it.
Stephen, that's it. You hit it on the head, and I appreciate you reiterating that for me. So can Courtney or Whitney, would you like to share how everyone else can, like we said, get connected with Kentucky Go Digital so we can force multiply all of this?
I'm going to go a little off script too. The first, one of the ways, there's three, but one way is by the regionals. And while we don't have the dates out yet, the reason I want to bring up the regionals is because, Stephen, I do believe, did you make it to all the regionals this summer? For Kentucky Go Digital? I
missed the one in Murray.
So we had 5 this summer, and Stephen almost did the full tour. So if you want to connect in person, I know we're talking about all the different ways to connect, but this summer we'll be able to connect in person at the regionals, and those dates will be out shortly. So Whitney, do you want to talk about the other ways that everyone can connect?
I think first of all, I'm really upset that I missed you in Murray. Next year, Murray, come on. But definitely check out the YouTube channel that you're watching this video on. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. There are tons of videos. I send them to people all the time. Here's how you do Autocrat. Here's how you do Form Mule. So make sure you're checking out those videos on our channel and subscribing to hear great conversations like this. There's also a Facebook page for KY Go Digital. And my personal favorite is Twitter. Use hashtag KY Go Digital when you're tweeting anything out. I regularly just scroll through tweets to find new ideas, and exactly what you just said, Stephen, break down those walls, share all over the world. There's no reason that you can't find somebody to connect with, even if you're the only person in your building doing what you're doing. So definitely share out on that hashtag KY Go Digital. Check out Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
So with that all said, I hope that this show today is useful for everyone that's out there. And we urge you, we said it earlier, we urge all content areas to pull in the music and use both sides of the brain too. So see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get involved with Kentucky Go Digital. Attend regional events, like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on Twitter.